Back to Piers Morgan, I said, some of the Osbournes have been Hollywood royalty for decades. Unlike the royal family, it hasn't stopped them voicing their opinions on them. Kelly took to a podcast recently to tell us exactly what she thought of Prince Harry.
Good question.
I think Harry's a I do. I think he's he's a whining, whinging, complaining.
What?
Woe is me. I'm the only one that's ever had mental problems. Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's life is hard.
Yeah,
you were the prince of a goddamn country who dressed up as a Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope?
That doesn't make sense.
Suck it. No.
Do you know what? I couldn't have put it quite like that, but I definitely share the sentiment. Sharon, when you heard Kelly there...
I certainly have a way with words.
Sharon, you've been slightly more polite about them whilst making the same point.
It was all very distasteful, Piers. I was totally bored by the whining, the whining, the whining.
What do you mean by that?
And, you know, the curtsy, the thing she said about medieval times, her lunch with the Queen was like medieval times, which, as you know, is a Disney-type entertainment place for kids.
Okay.
And it's just so horribly disrespectful and just a wine fest.
So here we are. It's quite interesting what's happened to them, isn't it? Because I lost my job because of Meghan Markle over that Oprah interview.
Are you sure about that?
You, Sharon, then disgracefully lost yours on the talk because you basically said I was entitled to my opinion.
Nice.
Where are they now, these two? Because it seems to me that people have basically just got bored of them, which is the most lethal thing of all for any public figures.
Who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I just think the proof is in the pudding, in the sense you've been handed the world and every major contract, you had podcasts, you have all of this, and you didn't deliver because you...
There's nothing to deliver.
Yeah, because you don't have it. And that's okay. And I think they do have a right to privacy, but that doesn't seem to me what they're looking for.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
And Ozzy, let me ask Ozzy, actually, about Sharon getting fired from the talk. Because I felt so angry about that Sharon would be forced out of a job that she was brilliant... Because she was the star of that show.
Yeah, right.
What did you make of it?
I always said it was a setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they were looking for an excuse to get her up.
So that was a f***ing lie.
Well, yeah, and it was the time when, like, what better excuse to kick someone off a show than, you know, start making wild allegations of, like, racism, and it was like the fad of the moment to just, you know, burn someone down just to, you know, wave the woke flag, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was completely outrageous, actually. I mean, Ozzy, to hear people call Sharon a racist, knowing her as well as you do, how did you feel about that?
When I first heard that she got... she's leaving the show, I said, well, Cheryl will stick up for her. She knows she's not a racist, she's her friend.
Stop it. Get some help.
And it was Cheryl that threw her under the bus.
She did. Yeah. She never said a word
I think
in
that's
defense.
the thing that was... No, and that was the thing that was so disappointing. It's like, you know, all these people that had worked with my mum for double-digit years, knew the whole family, knew everything. Not anyone came out and said, hey, actually, that's a pile of BS, and everyone just went with it because, for one, people couldn't defend my mum because if you do defend, everyone then jumps on you.
What?
And it was just nuts.
And you know, Sharon, the interesting thing, isn't it? If you go back to the start of it, I had to lose my job on Good Morning Britain here in the UK because I said I didn't believe a word Meghan Markle said. I wouldn't believe her if she wrote a weather report. Well, that's been completely vindicated by all the lies which have been exposed since, including stuff that was lied about in the Oprah interview.
Come on now, dog.
So actually, if you take that as the starting point, everything that followed was completely nuts.
It just insanity, and then it seemed, you know, that everybody was parted. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Oh, I'm for them, I'm against them. And it's like, you know, they were given far too much importance because what do they do?
Yeah.
Yes,
well, all they do,
done
actually.
Wonderful things with the games. He has done an amazing job with the games.
Yeah, the Invictus Games is a very good thing. His service to his country was good. But the truth is, the only value they have to these corporations was to trash their families. All of them. And I just don't believe anyone can... You guys are such an extraordinarily strong family unit through thick and thin. You always have been. It's one of the things I love about you most. Family. When you see people who basically disown their entire families on both sides and then pretend they're happy, I don't see how people can be happy when they do that.
No.
No, and the thing is, I've said this so many times, Piers, they're fine, but their children don't have any family.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No grandparents, no aunts, no uncles, no cousins. There's nothing.
Nothing.
Their babies have their mum and dad, and that is what is so terribly sad.
Yeah.
And they know nothing of their heritage.
Well, duh.
Where does this end, Sharon, for those two, do you think?
I said it in the beginning in tears. It's going to end very, very badly. And I don't know why. It just keeps taking me back to Edward and Mrs. Simpson.
Yeah.
It's like history repeating itself.
Yeah.
You know, and all of this, you know, cuddly, lovey, holding hands, going everywhere together. It's so disingenuous. It's like, come on. Give us a break from all of that.
Ozzy, having been through... Well, I was going to talk to you, Ozzy, about love, because you have one of the greatest marriages, for warts and all, good, bad and ugly, and you've had it all over the decades, but you have one of the greatest marriages I know, because it's actually based at its heart on true love.
So that was a f***ing lie.
And for you, what is it about that woman on the end of that sofa right now that's kept you sitting there and so in love with her for so long?
I couldn't live without her. I've tried. I can't live without her.
And she'll strangle him if he leaves.
Because when I leave, I come back and all my clothes are destroyed.
Stop it, Ozzy.
And Sharon, for you, what is the secret of longevity in a marriage, do you think?
Good question.
You have to realise that you can't change anybody, and it's acceptance. And, of course, the bottom line is love, but you accept each other.
Fact.
You know, as you are. You can't change anybody.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break.
They have to change themselves.
Yeah, I think that's right. And you evolve as people, right? But I do think, when I look at the four of you sitting there, I think about all the scrapes you've been through collectively, individually, whatever. It's great to see you guys sitting there as this fantastic family unit. You know, and all of you having come through difficult times.
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sniffling because I think Aurora's fur seems to be bothering me. But they are on a rampage.
I hear you. I hear you, yep.
They are totally disconnected from reality.
Lady C, I have to congratulate you because we haven't spoken on air since you launched the incredible GoFundMe campaign for Thomas Markle, a good man who has been treated so appallingly, not just by his daughter, but also by his son-in-law, Prince Harry. And initially you said a £10,000
Are you serious?
goal. Oh my goodness, Lady C, you have smashed it. I looked last night, £56,000 you've raised for Thomas Markle. Now, this is really critical to point out. He has medical costs. The family never asked for this. It's something that you did off your own back. But how amazing that we've all been able to show our support to Thomas Markle, a great man who never deserved the treatment from his daughter to trash him on an international scale.
Well, Dan, somebody said on my channel that somebody should do something. And I thought, well, yeah, it's a good idea. Well, I'll do it. I mean, if I wasn't going to do it, who was going to do it? And I feel that Thomas Markle is a King Lear character, and that Meghan is the combination of Gonorrhea and Regan, and let's call her Gonorrhegan, and if it sounds like something transmissible. And
I was wondering what you were saying there for a second.
There's a good reason for it, because really she is toxic. But I didn't do it for her. I did.
Are you serious?
Did it for him.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that because you see, my mother mistreated her mother. And I understand a lot of what Thomas Markle is going through, just because of what happened with my mother and my grandmother. And I mean, you and I both know Thomas Markle, and he's a decent, kind man. And also, Gigi Perot, who was Meghan's drama teacher, is a great friend of of mine. And I met her through Elaine. And she said to me, Thomas Markle was the most wonderful, kind, generous. He was.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Always doing things for the school, and without any question of approbation, reward, anything. He's just a nice man, and my experience of him has been he's a nice man. But I know it through Gigi that he is genuinely a nice man, and so I thought he deserves it. And I thought if I could, in some small way, and I didn't expect it to be as successful as it has been. I just thought if I did it and I set it at £10,000, and it's well over 50,000 now, but if I'd set it, I thought I'd set it at 10,000, and at least it gives people an opportunity to show that they care, and that there are decent people in the world, and that people do understand that there's room for compassion. I mean, what does Meghan have to forgive her father for? The fact that she set up an interview with Jack Rayner and got and organized it with Jack Rayner, who then approached Samantha.
That doesn't make sense.
And as Thomas Markle has said, it's quite clear she never wanted him at the wedding at all. He's never received an invitation. She told him it was lost in the post. I mean, excuse me, clearly he was set up from the word go. Why? Because he was trying to rescue his reputation. I was told by people at the palace that the late Queen offered not only for Harry and Meghan, her father and her mother. They accepted on behalf of the mother, they refused it on behalf of the father. And everything that I have seen happen, and my understanding of Thomas Markle, which will be far more limited than Meghan's,
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
She understood it. She slammed his buttons hard enough. He'd if not croak, he'd certainly be so destroyed by it all that he wouldn't come to the wedding, which is precisely what happened. And as he said to her and to Harry, well, aren't you sorry I'm not dead? Because and that, I think, was really the objective of the exercise. I think he he alighted upon the object of the exercise.
Are you serious?
Because Meghan doesn't want her father around. She doesn't want Harry to know her father, because she doesn't want Harry to ever hear from her father the truth about her. But Harry is now seeing the truth about her and told that things are not honky-dory. Harry, the scales have been falling off Harry's eyes. Thank God. At least he
Are you serious?
can save himself and hopefully the two children. His children, he can hopefully save from really what is a fate worse than death. Because really, to live with somebody like Meghan is really an awful, awful fate. I know what I'm speaking about. I've lived with a Meghan, and you know, it's really, it's like having,
wait for it,
an egg beater in your brain.